YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host TKK and we are back with another video, guys. We've got these two TVs in front of us. On the left, we've got the Samsung S90C, and on the right, we've got the Samsung S95B. 2022, 2023. In my, shall I call it, professional opinion, as a TV consumer, the TV on the left, obviously newer, is the TV I would go for. I'm going to talk to you guys about this, right? So make sure you are listening in on this. This is a video offering my opinion because I've been asked this question and I felt like this is a good talking point video. So let me first start by just saying, if you get an opportunity to go into a Best Buy store, I see some of these stores are starting to get displays of S90C and also S95C, right? We have the S95C. We featured it on the channel, so it's currently on the channel. If you want to see some content, I even made one video comparing this to that. And similarly, now when you go into some of these big box retail chains, you can see these TVs. And let me tell you, I can't wait to see and hear what Whisper Status' opinion is going to be, because he regularly makes videos going into those stores and he talks over them and narrates them. But they've now put that TV, this TV on the left, and also the model above it, the 95C, they've put it on the main wall. So it's no longer segregated. OLED from Samsung is no longer segregated. It is literally on the wall with everything else, right? Two TVs down from AK. It's ridiculous. Listen, it smokes everything on that wall. That demonstration just looks fantastic. So let me stop there and let me get into this. All right. So my opinion, when looking at these TVs, now these are both connected to an NVIDIA graphics card, an RTX 4090 to be specific. Both of these are connected to their own 4090. I have these TVs turned all the way up, so it's a light cannon. Forgive me if things look overblown. This is not about whether or not it looks overblown to you or not, because this camera is not going to be able to pick up both of these with detail the way that I have them set. If you're watching the video and you're listening, you heard me say that, so don't expect more than that. Listen to my talking points. I've got these things turned all the way up because when you're looking at demonstrations in stores, this is what you're seeing. You're pretty much seeing dynamic. Even though these are not set on dynamic, they have a warm base, but peak brightness and contrast enhanced turned up on both of them. High dynamic range turned up. This is Destiny 2 max settings 4090 at the space of 4K, 144 hertz, 120 hertz is what we're looking at, right? And I can tell you guys honestly, you know, you don't see much of a difference at all. A little bit more bright over here, little small details, things that I can see looking at literally the same screen with the same settings. A little bit more brightness here. Now, this does have that tone mapping of technology, so that's an advantage. Better is better, okay? When you're buying a TV, better is better. Don't listen to anyone ever telling you that you don't need whatever an advancement may be. I think I have some good talking points, so keep listening and just hang with me while I go through this with you guys, right? So you got the tone mapping feature. You also have this feature called 144 hertz natively set up with this. Now, the S95B has the ability to do it overclocked. Guys, I have found some inconsistencies with my S95B. I've been anywhere from RTX 3090, 3090 Ti, also the 4090 with the S95B. Messing with the 144, I've seen some screen tearing that just wasn't as present when you look at setting this thing on the default 120. In my opinion, I feel like when a TV has a feature natively implemented into it, it's always going to be a better thing, right? So you do get the 144 hertz on the S90C. You also do get that HDR tone mapping, right? That's a great feature. If you've got native HDR content, it takes the brightness and the detail to another level. It really does make the picture pop much more. It does. It really does, guys. Outside of that, you know, you're not getting much, but just a little bit more brightness when they are set identical. Identical meaning the exact same settings, right? And so when you look at that, you might think to yourself, man, you know, I might as well, you know, save a lot of money and get the S95B. Now, listen, I'm only offering you my opinion as a personal consumer. Me personally, guys, look, if I want a better TV, I'm going to buy a better TV. So the S95B is a year old now. If you've already waited a year on the S95B, now we're not talking about any radical discounts or anything like that. We're just talking about regular Joe walking to the store. He sees S95B, and obviously it's cheaper than S90C because this is a brand new TV. They haven't begun to discount this thing yet. You see this TV and you're like, man, you know what? I've seen TKK's video and they look to be pretty much the same. And so you're thinking to yourself, I'll save that 500, 600, 700, whatever the difference might be. And that's a very logical and wise financial decision, especially if you know that you're just going to play video games or something to that effect with these televisions. Now, where things come in that I think you should be considering the fact that, you know, do you really want to buy into a TV that's a year old? Personally, I wouldn't want to. So what I would suggest is, if you've already waited a year for this TV, you've probably looked at every TV that's been released and you decided not to get this thing yet, and you see that it hasn't really gone down any cheaper because this one is out. It's pretty much at the price that it's always been. Why not wait for this thing to discount so you can get the newer TV? Outside of those couple of things that I just mentioned that it has over it, it does have the Tizen operating system, works a lot more fluid. Leads me to believe that there's a central processing unit upgrade inside the 90C and the 95C that the 95B does not have. Now, I say that, and it has nothing to do with picture processing, but the actual computer unit, in my opinion, may be upgraded in here. I haven't seen anything to back that claim up, but Tizen definitely, for me, runs much more fluid on this. It just seems to be more laggy on this. And it's not that it's bad, and it has gotten better with firmware updates on the S95B, but it definitely works much more fluid on the 90C and the 95C. Comparing the 90C and the 95C, Tizen seems to run identical. When I had those TVs next to each other, you know, it ran perfectly smooth. But having these two TVs next to each other, navigating just settings and applications within the TV just feel really slow on this TV when being right next to one. So as I'm hitting the same buttons on both of the televisions, you know, just to pull up certain things, I mean, it's just like, I know that I'm hitting them at the same time. This TV is just slower. You know, it's just slower. It's just, I mean, it is what it is. And it only gets worse when you notice and you have both the TVs next to each other. Again, that's not going to be a deal breaker. I'm not telling you that you shouldn't get the S95B. I'm not telling you that you need to get the S90C. I just wanted to come in here today and have some discussional points about these two televisions. I think they're very, very great. There's not enough picture quality advancements in the 90C, in my opinion, to justify you not wanting the 95B. I'll tell you that 100%. But what I will tell you is that if you guys have waited all this time for 95B, why we like buying TVs when they're finna clearance out and be done, I don't know. Like, I totally understand the thought process of wanting to save money. Cool, it's totally fine. Maybe you don't feel like you need to have the most bleeding edge, the new of the new. That's cool too. But if you've already waited, don't buy an inferior product when you can just wait a couple more months and see what the sales are going to be like for this. That's just what I had to say for today's video. We got a new camera also, by the way. I have the Sony ZV-1 and got it 3 years ago, October 2020. It's been dropped a couple times. Finally, I went ahead and got it turned in. So it's getting repaired. We're going to see if it's going to get repaired or if it's just going to get swapped out for me to get, you know, the funds to be able to buy another one. Right now, we got the ZV-1F is what this camera's called. And they got some nice quality of life changes on it. So I just shot this. This is on auto. Again, this video isn't about picture comparison. So I know there's going to be some person in the comment section talking about looks overblown, this too bright, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's what I got for today's video. Let's have a discussion about this. Have you went to a retailer? Have you seen the 90C and the 95C on display? They look absolutely stunning, like stepping on everything that's in that store, man. So let me know what you guys got in the comment section. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Peace, God bless. And as always say, Max love.